Hey everybody, I'm Will Clayton with Pheasants Forever, and I'm here today with my good friend Ben from OnX Hunt.
Today we're going to be talking about how to use the OnX Hunt app to scout for pheasants right from the comfort of your own home.
You bet, Ben.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this map tool.
So Will, let's just say we're going out to a new area or even just like hunting around a home. What are some of the layers that you utilize to find pheasants when you're scouting?
Yeah, Ben, I mean, if we're gonna go out for a hunt, there's 3 layers that I almost always bring up when we're planning a hunt. It's the government lands layer, the walk-in access layer, and the private landowner layer.
Yeah, and the walk-in areas, you know, it varies by state, whether it's Kansas, Weha, IHAP in Iowa, Plots in North Dakota. So a lot of states have their own program, and that's all in the layer library that you can turn on, and it opens up an incredible amount of land and diverse land from a lot of the public land that's out there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're in Minnesota right now. Walk-in access program here alone is 30,000 acres, right?
Wow.
So those are 30,000 acres that aren't always open to public hunting unless you have that layer or know where they're at.
And a lot of times that's where I find some of the really good bird concentrations, because whether it's just say they have a harvested cornfield and there'll be filter strips running up through that, just different types of habitat that you don't always find on public land.
Yeah, you can find those on those walk-in access layers all across the Midwest.
Exactly. And to your point, you know, when I'm looking for an area, I won't just, if I see one piece of public ground, I'm not going to be like, this is the spot to go to, because, you know, what happens if the habitat is different this year, or, you know, the crops are still up. So that's like what you were saying, lots of different blocks, whether it's walk-in, WMA, WPA, all those different areas all hold birds. So that's what I do, is just find clusters first. And whether it's 5 acres or whether it's 500 acres, they can all hold birds. So
that's most definitely true. There's something, I mean, once you find those pockets though, you have to do some ground truth.
Exactly.
And you can do that from your desktop, you can do that from your easy chair, zooming in and seeing what that imagery looks like. It's not going to be as great as when you get there on site on that gravel road, but you can kind of pick and choose which areas are best by looking just on that imagery. You find your spots, you find your areas where you want to hunt, zoom in, find the edges, find what looks to be thick, diverse cover, all of that early successional habitat that we look for when we're trying to hunt upland birds. Then you got to go find it though. You got to go to the spot to really ground truth.
Yeah. So when you're talking about diversity, what does that look like? I mean, is it like a mix of cattails, some prairies, some tree lines? What does diversity look like? An ideal situation for you?
So when I think of diversity, and I've got a biology background, I'm looking at areas with native grasses and forbs, right? That big, beautiful, thick brown cover. Grasses, but then also what you want to see are flowering plants, or what look to be flowering plants, right? You want a thick canopy so those birds can hide, but that understory, you need to be able to have little runways for those chicks, those birds. That's what looks like great pheasant habitat. And to be honest with you, Ben, some weedy cover, some of those edges as well, that's okay. Weeds are all right for bird hunters, maybe not for some of the natives. But as you go throughout the season, right, you do look for cattail areas, tree rows, shrub rows, all those little hiding spots for rooster pheasants. That's where I'm going to go.
And one of my favorite tricks is when I'm looking for, you know, different areas, is I'll go and find all the, you know, public areas that are adjacent to crop fields. You know, that's, if I can go find corn, and you don't know because the imagery isn't, you know, every year they'll rotate crops. So if I can find an area that butts up to a cornfield, that's a great, you know, they need food. So
I don't know how many crops I've opened up each fall, but it's almost always full of corn. I mean, if you're going to find the trifecta, you're looking for an edge on a cornfield with that thick, diverse cover. That's what I look for. And that's what OnX can really help you find. I mean, it makes it a lot easier than just cruising those gravel roads and looking at paper maps like we used to.
Yeah. So one of another thing is when you're out scouting, say you found an area that you go drive to and you want to go check it out. One of the ways that I use the app a lot is with waypoints. So I'll go drive around, and I've kind of got a system, and everyone kind of has their own system for how they, you know, delineate different properties and what they see. So what I do is if I scout something online, I'll label it a certain color. If mine's yellow, So it means, okay, this looks good. And then when I go drive there and either maybe run the dogs before the season, I'll say, okay, either I found birds or this does look good. I'll label it like a purple. And then when I've shot birds off of it, I'll label it blue.
Right.
So, because my map looks, it's disgusting. There's just waypoints everywhere.
We went to college together. I know what your map looks like.
So that's just one way to use markup tools, as well as line distance. So if I'm trying to kind of plan out my day when I'm going on a trip or just hunting around home, a lot of the times I'll go and mark, okay, if I walk this piece, this is a 3-mile walk, it's going to take me this long. And I can kind of plan out my days, because when I'm on a trip, you know, we work 9-to-5 jobs, so it's nice to kind of figure out how many areas I can hunt a day to make sure I hit the places I want to. So
I tell you what, my map looks very similar to yours.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same color scheme, but I've got waypoints all over the upper Midwest.
Yeah.
One of the features that I really like, though, is if I'm hunting rural Nebraska, rural Kansas, rural Montana, even rural Minnesota, is the ability to download that map to my phone. What I didn't realize is my GPS never stops, right? But my service runs out an awful lot when I'm in those parts of the country. And being able to have your spots marked and having that imagery and that mapping while we're driving around, it makes it a lot easier to find my spots when the satellite or when your cell phone signal just isn't there for
Exactly. And the cool new thing that we just released actually is I use web map a lot on my computer. For me, it's easier to navigate when I'm scouting. And now you can create online maps on your computer, and it'll automatically sync with your phone and tell you to download the maps on your phone. So I'll go create large areas of offline maps when I know I'm not going to have a lot of service.
After this is over, will you teach me how to do that?
I sure can.
That'd be great.
So yeah, hopefully a few tips that you can use this season to make you more successful, and it's good to reunite and hopefully share a field this year.
I think we'll do that, Ben.
All right,
Good
thanks,
to see you,
Willie.
man.